Hello everyone, I'm Terry Hartley with Rustic Barn Cards, and today we're going to make a card using the stamp set Pampered Pets. I love this stamp set. I've been having a lot of fun this week making different cards using the Pampered Pets. So today we're going to use this stamp set. We're also going to use a sentiment from the stamp set called A Grand Kid. I'm going to use You Are So Loved. If you do not have this stamp set, you could use any sentiment from any stamp set and still make this card if you have the Pampered Pets stamp set. In the annual catalog, on page 40, 41, and 42, there is information about the Playful Pets suite. And so at the bottom, if you want to purchase the entire suite, you'll have the stamp set, the dies, designer paper, Playful Pets trim, and trinkets. And then it shows the designer paper at the bottom of page 41. Really cute. And then on page 42, you'll see just the stamp set. Notice how the stamps are in gray. The reason for that shows you this is the actual size of the stamps. So if I brought in the stamp from the stamp set and laid it right on top in the catalog, it is the exact same size. So anytime that the stamps are gray in the catalog, you know that's the actual size. And then on page 97, you will see the stamp set A Grand Kid. And it has lots of sentiments. Best grandkid ever, congratulations, happy birthday, to an extraordinary granddaughter, we must be related, to an awesome grandson. So a lot of neat sentiments, especially if you happen to be a grandparent, which I am. So that is the stamp set, and just real quick I wanted to show you up close and the designer paper. You'll have 2 sheets of each of these. There's some smaller dogs, then a couple pages of larger dogs, some cats, some different 2 more pages of different cats. So just really a lot of fun designer paper. And remember, if you turn it over, these are all double-sided. All right, let me show you the card that we're going to make today. And if you stay with me to the end, after we make the card, we're going to draw for a giveaway from last week, and I'll tell you how you can be in the drawing this week for a giveaway. And then I'll show you 2 other cards that I have made using the Playful Pets. So today we're going to make this card here, and You Are So Loved, and it's like a foldable. And actually the foldable comes from Lisa Curio, and then I also picked up a tip from Brandy Cox how to place a little stamp there so it keeps the fold closed. So this is the card that we're going to make. And I'm going to bring in what we're going to need. So we're going to need some early espresso, and so this is everything that we're going to need today for the card. So the early espresso, I had an 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and then I cut it in half at 5.5, and then I folded it over. And I have already done that just to save a little bit of time. I like to take my bone folder though and go crease over it to make it a little crisp on the edge. And so I'm going to bring in all the pieces that we need. So we're going to need 5 1/4 by 4 inch red cardstock, real red. We're going to need a 3 3/4 by 3 1/2 to go under the DSP on the front of the card. Another real red cardstock, 1 3/4 by 3 1/4, and that's for the fold. And then we have a 5 1/4 by 4 inch, and this is going to be for inside our base card. And then we have another Whisper White at 5 by 3 3/4, and this would be to layer on the outside of the card and to do our stamping. I think there's a little shadow there, sorry about that. And then I have a 1 1/2 inch square for our sentiment, our DSP paper, and then a scratch paper to stamp the hearts. And then you're going to also need 6 inches of red ribbon, a dog trinket, dimensional glue dots, green glue, a Pampered Pet stamp set, the grandkids stamp set or a different sentiment, paper trimmer, envelope, ruler, scissors, snail glue, real red ink pad, DSP, a bone folder, and take your pick tool, which is also optional. Okay, well, let's do our stamping first. So I'm going to bring in the real red ink pad so we can do our stamping. And the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to take the stamp set with the hearts, and I'm going to make hearts all over. So I'm going to stamp off, so stamp, and then stamp off, and since I went off the edge, I'm going to have to ink it again so I don't have that. Now part of this will be covered up. So it doesn't, you can turn your hearts, you can make them go the same way. So just again, just kind of around, and so there's a little line there, so I'm going to try to maybe kind of do that. And just a few more. Get that off there. And I think I'm pressing a little too hard, but some of that will be covered up. So you don't have to. All right, I think that looks good. So I'm going to lay that aside for right now. And I'm going to bring in the Whisper White. It's going to go inside my early espresso. And I'm just going to get some of the extra ink off there. And I'm going to just put some hearts in the corner. That's all I'm going to do. Then I'm also going to bring in an envelope, and I'm going to put a heart down at the corner of the envelope. And then I'm finished with the hearts. Oh, no, I'm not, actually. I need to stamp one more heart on, this is the Scratch Whisper White. And I'm just going to go ahead and make, I only need one, but I'm going to go ahead and make two. You never know if you're going to make a mistake or not. And then I need the 1 inch, 1 1/2 inch by 1 1/2 inch for my sentiment, which is You're So Loved. So I'm going to ink that up. center it, press it straight down and straight up. Great. And now I'm finished with my ink. So I'm going to lay that aside. And it's time to bring in all of the pieces, and we're ready to put our card together. So this is a quick and easy card. Once you have everything cut out, so the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to glue the Whisper White inside my Early Espresso card. So I'm going to bring in my green glue. If you have watched, I don't have a lot of videos yet, but if you have watched some of my videos, you know that this is my favorite adhesive. Okay, I'm going to open that up. I'm going to line it up, get it straight, which is not quite yet, but we will. One thing about green glue, you have a little bit of time to get it like you want it. Okay, so that is in there. I'll lay that aside. And now I'm going to bring in the paper that we stamped the hearts on, and I'm going to glue it right on top of the red cardstock. And I'm going to go ahead and use the green glue again. Sometimes it seems like if I turn it sideways, for me, it's a little easier to line it up straight. Okay. I'll lay that aside. Now I'm going to bring in this piece of red cardstock that I'm going to put my DSP on. Now I have to be careful because it only goes one way. So if I try to turn it this way, then notice how the red cardstock does not go all the way to the end. So make sure you have it turned the right way, because it goes edge to edge, and you just want a little red border at the top and then at the bottom. And here, because it's a smaller piece, I'm going to bring in my silicone craft sheet, which I know I did not have on the list, and you don't have to use it. Stampin' Up! Does have, so it turns the right way, Stampin' Up! Does have a new Stampin' Seal. So that has been ordered, and well, I did receive one, but there's a little bit of a problem with it, so we're getting another one. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and put this on, bring in our card base, and glue this onto here. And again, I'm going to turn it, because I think it helps me get it lined up straight. It's always the tricky part, isn't it? Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to put the red border and the DSP on. The reason I did a full sheet of cardstock, because sometimes you can get by with just doing like maybe just a half of an inch at the top and the bottom, but because I'm using DSP paper, the designer paper, it's a little thinner, and I just thought it would look nicer if I did the entire one. So I'm not going to put this in the center because I need room for my sentiment to go down here. So I will be placing it more towards the top when I glue it on. But I also want to make sure that I'm leaving some hearts at the top, that you can see some hearts at the top. Okay, and you can always kind of, we don't have, you know, kind of, so I'm going to just go up a little bit, I think, and that should work. Okay, so now I'm going to add some glue, and I think I'll go ahead and bring in seem to be having problems with my snail. Okay, so now I'm going to place it, I'll make sure I get the edge right. And again, so I still have some hearts at the top showing, and I still have room down here for my sentiment. Okay. So now I'm going to bring in the red and my sentiment, and I'm going to put it right there. So I'm going to turn it over, add some snail. I'm going to kind of line it up so it has a little bit of a border around it. Press it down. And then this is when I need my bone folder. Now, one way you can take your bone folder and you go right along the edge of this Whisper White paper of your sentiment, but I like to leave about 1/4 of an inch. So this is when I'm going to bring my ruler in, and I'm just going to kind of place it right there against the sentiment, and I'm going to use it as a guide, and I'm just going to draw lines back and forth so I can get a nice good crease with my bone folder. Okay, and then I'm going to fold it. So this piece here is going to go on the back like this. Now, you want to make sure, because the first time I did this, I put glue on the wrong place, okay? So, when you have this, you're going to turn it upside down, and you're going to put glue, not on this side, but where your sentiment is, but over here. And I am going to use snail, and I'm going to put quite a bit on it. So it will stay. And then I am going to, I think I'm going to pull it over this way so I can make sure I have it lined up. And then it folds over. But you notice, see how it wants to kind of come up like that? So that is why, and you could fill those in if you wanted to. But we're going to fussy cut. And we're just going to cut around. We're going to leave it at, they're going to leave the two hearts together. So again, this is a little tip I learned from Brandy Cox. And you can take your bone folder, if you wanted those to go up a little bit, you can take your bone folder and kind of go like that. And we're going to need a glue dot, no, we're going to need a dimensional right now. So I'm going to put a dimensional under the big heart. And then I am going to cut a dimensional in half. Well, you can see it's, and we'll put that right there. Okay, turn that over, take off the backing, and then we're going to kind of hold this and get it kind of placed. You have to make sure that the dimensional isn't sticking on your sentiment, but yet is close enough that it catches it. So it does. You can open it up, write your greeting, you can close it right under there. Okay, the last thing that we're going to do is to add our little dog tag and a ribbon. So for the dog tag, we have some trinkets, and there's several cute, there's some hearts in here, which, you know, we could put the little heart there since we are doing hearts. And I think we will. I think I'll change that. Whereas before, sometimes I like to do that. I'm going to bring in my take your pick tool and the glue dots. Take a glue dot, and then I am going to make it, just kind of make it a little bit smaller in my hand, so it will go and then we will place that heart right there for the little dog tag. And then I find on the ribbon about 6 inches, but I often will make the bow with the ribbon attached so I can save on my using my ribbon. So I have already made a ribbon to attach, and I'm going to bring in another. I think maybe need to snip a little bit off the edge of our ribbon. Bring in a glue dot. Put it on the back. Actually, I really didn't need my pick. I could have just put the bow right on the glue dot. Make sure you pull these to make sure that way they'll stay. And I will put that right here. And there's our card. You are so loved. Now, what I did this time that I didn't do with this card is that I went ahead and added a red border at the top and the bottom of the DSP. You see that? And see, on this card I didn't. But I felt like after I made this card that it needed something extra. So I decided to add the red border. So, and then I told you that I would show you a couple other cards. But before we do that, I would like to draw for last week's winner. And I'm drawing for the Early Espresso ribbon. So I'm going to draw out a name, and I'll tell you, Jenny Johnson. So I will contact Jenny and be sending her a roll of Early Espresso ribbon. And how you can be in the giveaway today, if you like, follow, and leave a comment, your name will be in the drawing for next week. If you share, your name will be in a second drawing. And if you place an order. So there's 3 ways that you can be in a drawing. If you, one way is to like, follow, and leave a comment on Facebook. if you share this video and place an order. So next week, if you like, follow, and leave a comment, I will be drawing a name for a package of dimensionals. If you share this video, I will send someone Stamp and Cut and Emboss Dainty Diamonds. Isn't that pretty? And if you place an order, your name will be in a drawing for a stamp and seal. In case mine doesn't come in next week, I didn't want to use that one. So those are 3 ways you can be in the giveaway for next week. Okay, another card that I made using the Pampered Pets is this one right here with the DSP, I hope your day is a real treat. Another card that I made is to an extraordinary granddaughter, and let me back up and let you know that I hope your day is a real treat. This is an actual sentiment from the Pampered Pet stamp set. So, and then in this card, to an extraordinary granddaughter, this comes from a grandkid stamp set. And so I made this one, again, a fun fold. Put some hearts inside, and then you just flip that under there. So these are the 2 cards that I made this week. This is the card that we made today, and then this is the one that I showed you that we're going to make. So there's 4 different cards. If you would like directions for the card that I made today, reach out to me on Facebook or send an email to rusticbarncards@gmail.com, and I will send you a list of the materials that I used today along with the step-by-step directions. I'll send those free. If you do not have a demonstrator, reach out, let me know, and I would be glad to send you a catalog. If you are going to place an order, remember to use the host code. Go to terryhartley.stampinup.net if you place an order and use the host code. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.